active management of those forest grounds on private forest grounds.
When they say, well, it's climate change, I think how clever of the climate to know exactly the boundary line between the private and federal lands and only devastate those on the federal side.
Yeah,
of the boundary line.
how curious, huh?
Mr. Hightaker, I'm wondering about something. Half of California's forests are privately owned, the other half are administered by the Forest Service. And as has just been pointed out, you can tell the boundary lines between the private and federal lands just by the condition of the forests. Private lands are usually healthy, they're well managed, tree density is matched to the ability of the land to support it, and they actually make money doing that. The federal lands, the lands that you are responsible for, are densely overgrown, stressed and dying, and you lose money doing that. 5 years ago, I toured the footprint of the King Fire. The private lands, owned by Sierra Pacific Industries in this case, had been completely salvaged, and the funds generated from that salvage had been used to suppress brush growth, and you could see new, young, healthy trees that were already planted and growing. The federal lands, again, the lands that you are responsible for, had been abandoned. 6 feet of brush had grown up on those forest lands. No trees had been salvaged. And so all you could see was dry brush and dry, rotted trees falling on top of that dry brush. A perfect fire site.
Yep.
In fact, the firefighters in the Caldor fire tell me, when the fire hit the King Fire footprint, it literally exploded because of the neglect of your agency.
Yeah, exactly.
So private landowners make money keeping their forests in healthy condition, and you somehow manage to lose money keeping our forests in decrepit condition. Would you care to explain yourself?
Yeah. It's planned.
I'll give it a shot. Thank you for that. I would say that we are working currently with the National Alliance of Forest Owners on a couple of agreements to help streamline some of that work across boundaries. We recognize the importance of that.
How do you explain the difference? You lose money keeping our forests in decrepit condition. Private landowners make money keeping their forests in healthy condition. I mean, why should anybody listen to your agency on matters of forest management, given that record?
I'd like to think that the agency has a very stout and educated group of scientists supporting
Would you
our
like to explain
Yeah.
why the difference?
Well, our agency is guided by different rules and standards in those private lands.
Yeah.
You're aware of that, which...
You know what the agencies are guided by, the rules and standards? A global influence. And you know what? It's having a negative impact because it's planned that way. And here's the thing, folks. Our departments and agencies in charge of our natural resources and our energy and all of our conservation efforts were infiltrated decades ago. Infiltrated by bad actors that provided a bunch of propaganda to our so-called climate engineers, or climateers as I call them, that on the surface look like, oh, this would be good for our planet. Oh, this would be good for our country. This would be good for our state to go ahead and do this practice. And let's go ahead and try this project out because, this global university agent over here gave us this 500-page guidebook and guidance on how to manage our forests and how to manage our natural resources. And like I said, on the surface, looks really good, but in the long term, it intentionally damages and destroys our natural resources and our access to resources intentionally. Okay? Do you understand it? Are you seeing the bigger picture when it comes to some of these agencies that are deploying some of these projects and these techniques? It's because they've applied a global standard that has been influenced by bad actors who do not have our best interest in mind. In fact, their intention is to influence our so-called climate scientists and our climate engineers and those in charge of our natural resources to take measures and institute projects and develop and deploy projects that directly, intentionally destroy our resources. Destroying us from the inside out, using our own brainwashed, ignorant tools following the global standards and the global guidance. If you look at every one of these instances where they are instituting some of these policies and making some of these rules and regulations that create these devastating results in situations like this here, where our natural forests that are owned by the feds and owned by the so-called agencies in charge of taking care of them look like shit and are going to hell, and the private ones actually are healthy.
Basin, you can definitely tell there is a difference in terms of active management of those forest grounds on private forest grounds.
Exactly.
You know, when I say what's climate change, I think how clever of the climate to know exactly the boundary line between the private and federal lands, and only devastate those on the federal side of the boundary line.
How clever of the climate to know those boundary lines, huh? So if that isn't more proof of intentional destruction of our natural resources from the inside out, I don't know what is. These people in charge of all of this stuff have been influenced decades ago, and it's just not any different here in Nevada. The same thing with the xeriscaping that they introduced back in the 80s, back in Colorado, where it began with xeriscaping. The whole intent in the long term for xeriscaping is to create a severe drought. Because if you keep removing the green spaces and you keep removing those root systems and those sponges, it's going to dry out. And that's exactly what's going on here in Nevada. And they have a whole bunch of these so-called climateers and these students of climatology and climate engineering students all brainwashed into believing that we need to do this xeriscape. We need to remove all of this greenscaping. And they have all of these people that are in charge of this shit here deploying it. They just removed all of the freaking grass from the local park here last week, folks. Removing all of our sponges, removing all of those things that help to retain water, retain moisture, is going to make us dry out even more. They are intentionally destroying us from the inside out, using our own people in charge of it. And these people here are so fucking ignorant to independent research. It is incredibly insane what they are allowing to happen. What's going on here in Henderson and what's going on here in Nevada with this drought is intentional. Plain and simple. And how very clever indeed of the climate to know exactly the boundaries, huh?